Welcome to the Switchblade Sisters Social Club, a true crime podcast where two sisters exploit their worst fears for your entertainment. You're welcome. I'm Dee.
And I'm Randa, and together we are the Sake Sisters. For more information, check out our website at www.switchbladesistersocialclub.com or find us on Instagram and Facebook at Switchblade Sisters Social Club.
Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Switchblade Sisters Social Club, and this is Dee. Who are you?
And this is Randa. Oh, this is Randa. Rusty.
Rusty, because this is episode 1 of season 3. So
we're back, bitches.
We're back. This is a true crime podcast where two sisters exploit their worst fear for your entertainment. You're welcome. Now, we say season break. We haven't taken a break because we're carrying on recording.
We were here last week.
Yeah. And here we are again.
Last week.
But we've made the season break.
As we keep saying, oh shit, so we gotta stop this after the third season.
Do you know what I mean?
Each other.
I know.
But
you would have thought.
I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Well, let me say that our season break was shorter.
Oh yeah, no, I remember what I was gonna say. Podcast time is not linear.
No, it really isn't. So, our season break was shorter than expected because I decided to make it shorter because we had a lot of people saying they were missing us. And I thought we have basically 4 episodes of our previous podcast where we featured all together. We Knew the Moon. We had 4 episodes in the bank. I used 2 of them on our season break. Plus we had 2 amazing interviews. One with Dr. Honor Townshend, who is a criminologist, and one with, it was amazing, with Louis Ferranti, who is coming back. Don't worry, Rhonda couldn't make it for the interview, but he's coming back, and he was, dreamy.
Yeah, his accent is to die for.
Yeah. So, so we had those 2 bonus episodes, and now we're back. Hello. I also want to say,
we are back.
We're back. We've got a bunch of events with the brewery market in particular. So do check out our website, sign up to our mailing list, and you will find out all about our events. But one of them is this episode's coming out on Valentine's Day. One of them is tonight at the brewery market. So I don't know if there's still tickets because, as you said, podcast recording time is not linear.
Dee, you're like Clark Kent. You're in 2 places at the same time.
I know, right? So if you are listening to this in the morning of the day that it's released and you are looking for something to do tonight, then check if there's tickets available for the event at the brewery market. It's called Bad Romance. So it'll be killer couples, crimes of passion, and craft beers.
Oh.
So come along if you've got a date. Come along if you don't have a date. Come along if you want to celebrate Galentine's Day. Just come along. Say hi. So I wanted to appeal to our listeners because I have been on the fence about this Zoe health thing. You know, you see people.
I'm so excited that you brought it up because I have a story about this. Okay, so tell me.
Okay, so you know, well, for those who don't know, you might have seen the ads where you eat like muffins or cookies or whatever, and you've got to wear this like, looks like one of those insulin dispensers on your arm for about 2 weeks while it collects, you know, and you send off your poo for microbiome tests, whatever.
Whoa.
So
hold on.
Are you thinking of something different?
No. 2 weeks? You got to have that in your arm with a needle stuck in your arm for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like you tape it up and everything. It collects like your blood sugar level, I think, for 2 weeks. And then you get all the results. I was like on the website, I was trying to work out how much it costs. I saw that the initial test cost, I think, £199, and then you have to pay for membership, I think. I'm not entirely sure. So I was basically wanting to appeal to our listeners. Has anyone done it? What's the deal, yo? I'm interested.
What do you find out?
you find out like your microbiome stuff,
What the fuck is
whatever,
that? What is
which
that? What is that?
like basically you send off your poop and you find out if you've got good bacteria, bad bacteria, if you've got any major health issues with your gut. Really super useful. But you
Okay.
can pay for that independently outside of the Zoe membership. So yeah, I was just curious, is it going to be like when I was trying to lose weight and I signed up to Weight Watchers, or like my Fitness Pal where I do it for about 5 minutes and then it's just a fucking waste of money for me?
You know what? So interesting because that you mentioned this today, because just yesterday, one of my neighbors that I really like messaged me saying, "Oh, have you tried Chuckling Goat? I saw you liked them on Facebook." And I was like, "What the fuck is Chuckling Goat?" Because I seem to have liked loads of things that I have no idea about when people ask me if I have used it. So I was like, "What is that?" So we looked into it. It's exactly what you said. It's like the Zoe thing, but a Chuckling Goat brand, which is cheaper than Zoe. Anyway, I didn't know what it was. And then he mentioned, he starts talking about shitting himself.
Your neighbor.
And so I, yeah. And so I was about to say, because I didn't know what this chuckling goat was at the time. So I was about to say, is this message meant for me? But anyways, as it happens, it was. He doesn't even know our fondness of talking about people shitting themselves.
Oh, you should
So
have
anyways, then we
submitted
had
the
a long
story.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we had a long conversation about IBS and doing that. And I told him I'm in if you're in. So I told him go do the research and we'll do it together as an experiment. But fuck, I didn't know it's like 200 pounds to find this out.
Well, why don't you let us know about Chuckling Goat? Because I like the name better.
Mm.
Already they have
Yeah,
me
it's like
with the
half the
name.
price.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but
So okay, I'm interested.
speaking of tests
Hmm.
though, you took a test.
I did, and I passed, or I failed, or I failed. I don't know.
Well,
That's
you got a positive result, and no, it's not COVID for once.
yeah, yeah. So basically, long story short, I had an autism and ADHD diagnosis, which, as we already revealed, came back positive. And I took it positively because, and nothing wrong with that. So yeah, so that's been my week. So it was interesting. And actually, I had to wait like a good 2 months for the result. And that waiting is fucking hard. Like I said to them, just give me 24 hours notice when it's ready. Warn me 24 hours before that it's going to land in my inbox. I can't just have something like that landing in my inbox without mental preparation, you know?
Hmm.
So anyway, so yeah, so basically it was, you don't know how you're going to react. Obviously, I wasn't 100% surprised because, I wouldn't have done the assessment had I potentially been surprised with the result. But the funny thing was when I first opened it up, so I went for a combined one for ADHD and autism. And um, probably everyone that listens to us knows our kids are autistic and, Deanna has dyslexia and dyspraxia. So it's, I wasn't surprised. It's something that, is in our family. We're aware of all these things. But when I opened up the report, the first thing I said was, "Oh fuck," because I actually wasn't expecting ADHD. That's the one I wasn't expecting. And then my second thought was, shit, do I need to now explain to people that I have a sense of humor? Do I have to now explain to people for the rest of my fucking life that I have a sense of humor? So that was my reaction. Other than that, it was no surprise. I'm happy I did it and my main motivation was because very soon we have to explain it to the kids. And especially with one of them, they will find it easier to understand if they know that their parents are, and but yeah, as anyone will tell you, there's no negatives to having a diagnosis. There's no negatives. For some people, it gives them validation. For some people, they're kinder to themselves. For other people, they learn strategies,
I mean, I think
for
you should
various.
say, though, that you found it a bit tough reading the report, and that triggered my memory from when I
Oh,
read my dyslexia report, because I had the same thing where you're like, this like picking up on all the things that I'm a bit self-conscious about. But like you
yeah.
say,
So that,
it gives
yeah.
an explanation for why you struggle with X, Y, and Z, which is really, really
Yeah. So
nice.
yeah. So report, you get a detailed report, and I'll explain a little bit about how the process works because I think it's not something people are aware of unless they have had a family member or friend go through it. But the report obviously details, things about you that you probably struggle with, and it's interesting. It's not like the most pleasant thing to read because it's potentially things that you're self-conscious about that you're
But I
not
think it's
probably
nice though, because it's nice to understand why you struggle with those things and why you have issues with those things. And then it kind of gives you the space to be like, right, okay, let's not fight it anymore. Let's try to work with it or
yeah.
around it rather than
Well,
fighting it.
the thing is, I think I'm in a lucky place where when people said, oh, I bet it was validating. Well, that I didn't have because I am completely at peace with myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm 39 in a few weeks. I have a good life. I have a happy life. I don't particularly want anything to change. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't go through the diagnosis process because I felt I needed answers for myself or because I feel like I need any more medication that I'm already taking or like there wasn't something I needed for myself. Do you know what I mean? For other people that can be different, but yeah, reading the report, it's like reading, for me it was like reading the things that you try to cover up but you realize they're not probably as inconspicuous as you think. It was also a little bit like being dumped, but then reading a letter about all the reasons you've been dumped.
And I struggled with your testing as well because you put me down as one of the people to fill
Yeah.
a questionnaire about you. And it
Yeah.
felt really shitty doing it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because it felt like I was just bitching about you the entire time. Like, because it was
Yeah.
asking me a bunch of questions about things that you struggle with and whatever. And I just felt really bad. Like I wanted to be as honest as possible because
Yeah, you
obviously,
have to be. You have to
yeah,
be because you want the most
I wanted to
accurate
make the most
result,
of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so basically, the reason I'm talking about it is because I know there's a lot of people who, especially women, 80% are only diagnosed in adulthood. And especially if you haven't got learning difficulties, it is very easy to remain undetected.
Yeah.
And,
And in our generation, we just didn't have it tested at school. It wasn't a
no,
thing. It was barely
yeah,
mentioned at school.
yeah. And I think, what worries me the most about undiagnosed neurodivergence is the mental health issues that can accompany it. People who are autistic are 70% more likely to commit suicide and 50% of people in prison. I thought it was 25%. I've recently read that it's 50% of people in prison have ADHD, 80% are dyslexic. And I just think if these things are kind of, picked up on earlier and strategies are in place to help them manage or support them, then those statistics don't need to be there. Also 70 to 80% of autistic people are not in employment. That's fucking crazy,
And quite a lot of that is to do with you get a lot of anxiety linked to it, a lot of
It's not
frustration.
nothing to do with ability. That's the thing.
No,
It's
it's
nothing
just
to do
not
with ability.
understanding
Yeah.
yourself and what you're struggling with,
Yeah.
not having the support to cope with it. And that leads to a lot of frustration, which can lead to a lot of anger, which can unfortunately lead to depression, violence,
Exactly. And the scary thing is that,
unsociable behavior, et cetera, et
yeah,
cetera.
and a lot of people who are undiagnosed, they end up self-medicating or they are diagnosed with something like depression or anxiety or eating disorders. And because the sad truth is, and I love the NHS, GPs don't know enough about it. When I was going to the GP about the kids, and I kept saying, look, they're autistic. I know that they are. You're dismissed and dismissed and dismissed. And I think it's even worse for adults when you get to a certain age to think, well, you've done okay,
Yeah, it's not a priority
yeah,
in this
so
really stretched system.
yeah, so you may be, given some citalopram, sertraline, told to just, change your lifestyle, but
Which
that
we
doesn't.
love, FYI.
Yeah, we endorse that advice too. But that's why I wanted to raise it because I think, I haven't suffered in life. I, have had a really blessed life, but that's not the case for everyone. And yeah, the diagnosis process, last thing I'll say about it is I did it through my client, who's name is Jude Morrow. He's an autism advocate and an autism neurodiversity consultant. He's autistic
With great
himself.
social media.
Yes, thank you. And also the founder of the ND-Sphere app, which is for neurodivergent adults, parents of neurodivergent kids, or anyone who wants to learn more. I also create the content for that app. There's a free version, ND-Sphere, ENDEES, shit, H, fuck. Oh, we'll
Link in the show notes, but also link in the show notes to the super cool new merch.
Yes, super cool new merch, which Dee helped with, which I'll tell you about in a sec. But yeah, so basically, just to conclude, a diagnosis for ADHD and autism can be anything between 3,000 to 4,000. Through Jude's organization, it is only around, because there's a discount, about 1,300, but there's now a sale on it, which is not the reason I'm bringing this up. It's actually just very timely because I had my result last week. And the way it's done is your family members who you choose are given, 2 to 3 family members or 1, however many, are given questionnaires to complete about you. You have 10 questionnaires to complete about yourself, which only takes about an hour. You have a horrible test to do, which involves clicking red and blue shapes. For some people, that's probably not so much of a problem. And
I would say inform your references, your friends and family that you put down, that you want them to be fully honest. Because like I said, I struggled. I didn't really know what was involved.
And don't see the questionnaire. You want your family members to be honest. So just let them know.
Yeah, because you asked me for the answers and I didn't realize I wouldn't be able to send them to you afterwards. But I didn't say
yeah, I'm glad I didn't
want you to, but it's just that it's compiled all in one.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't, because but so basically questionnaires, it's all this one is done online. So afterwards there's a 2-hour appointment with a psychologist where they,
Did you do that in person or on Zoom?
On Zoom. So there's a 2-hour appointment where they run you through a lot of questions. And they also look at your medical history, so you just have to get the details from your GP. And then it goes to a panel, so they have their verdict, then it goes to panel to check that they all agree. And that's it. So it's all really wrapped up in less than a couple of months, and all you really have to do is fill out 10 questionnaires about yourself, which takes an hour, spend 2 hours on Zoom, and really not scary, actually quite pleasant. And I can recommend the doctor that I had the appointment with, who was lovely, really nice, really comforting, really reassuring. And so the reason I'm bringing it up is just if anyone is thinking about one for themselves or family members, get in touch. There is a discount on this.
Link in the show notes.
And just for absolute transparency, I'm not partnered with them. Neither is Dee. We don't get any remuneration from recommending them. I'm recommending them because that's who I used, because it's affordable. They have 0% interest payment plans. And literally, just to stress again, we do not earn from that recommendation. It is just because I feel very passionately about it. Yeah, so that's it.
Cool. Should I tell you the fucking story?
Yeah! Tell me. Okay. I'm gonna get comfy. I'm not gonna fall off this bench this time.
Can I just first show you my t-shirt?
Yes.
Sorry, it's blocked a little bit by my hot water bottle.
Is it from spark.com?
Yes, lovespark.com. I incite this meeting to rebellion. Emmeline Pankhurst. Love it.
Love it.
All right, so
and I love that font. That font is called Special Elite.
Oh, it's a good font.
Yeah.
Font nerd. So I took on board what you said towards the end of the season about how you liked crimes that didn't involve murder.
Yes.
So I started investigating this one because I didn't think it involved murder, but it actually does involve a death, which might be murder. But the murder is not even the weirdest part of the story. So anyways, I'm just going to get started. Did you ever watch Gossip Girl?
Yeah, of course. Who the fuck do you think I am? Of course I fucking do.
I know, I would have been shocked.
Why do I ask you every time I call you?
All right, so
what's the gossip? Of course I fucking do.
What about Bridgerton?
No, I tried to watch a couple of minutes of it and I didn't get into it. I'm not really into period dramas. Why? Who?
Well, because Bridgerton is basically Gossip Girl, but period drama. So I think you would like it. What if I told you that there was a real life version of Gossip Girl?
Are you talking
Mm.
Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Because that happened last week. There was a real life, and it played out on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Anyway, you need to watch that
Is
next.
that what
Okay.
you think? Is that what you think I'm talking about?
I was hoping so.
Yeah, it's not. I'm talking about the Enigma of the Circleville Letters.
Oh, is this old-timey too? It sounds old-timey.
It's 1976.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm into it.
all
I'm
right,
into this. Okay.
let me set the scene.
Okay.
In the quiet town of Circleville, Ohio, a
Hmm.
series of anonymous letters began circulating in 1976, unveiling a whole bunch of mystery, accusation, and fear that would grip a community for decades. These letters, which contained personal information and accusations, were not only unsettling due to their content, but also because the sender remained unknown.
Oh, it's giving me the creeps because it's reminding me of The Watcher, and it's reminding me of Strange and Unexplained's fucking episode of that, which kept me up at night because, oh God, okay, I'm creeped out now because I'm sitting in a
Okay,
fucking
so
dark
I'm
observatory. Okay,
sorry, this
yeah.
is
Oh
unsolved.
shit. Okay, and it's creepy.
It's unsolved and creepy, yes. Ready to go in? Okay,
We're
so
here now. We
firstly,
started, so we might as well finish.
we started. Firstly, do you want to see where Circleville is?
Yes.
So it's,
Ohio is like one of the middle states, right?
yeah, Midwest. Let me just share my screen.
Who wants to live there?
And it is, where is it? Sort of like around here.
Am I
Okay, do you see?
wrong to think that not much happens in those states other than
Well, we're covering it on a fucking true crime podcast,
okay.
so something happened.
I was gonna say other than like corn growing and stuff.
I mean, yeah. So Circleville is a city in Pickaway County, Ohio.
Mhm.
It's 25 miles south of the state capital, Columbus. In 2020, there were nearly 14,000 people living there. So that's not a very, I mean, city for 14,000 people. Oh.
Mhm.
Circleville was so named because when it was originally laid out, it was based within a Hopewell circular earthwork. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Mhm.
So I Google imaged it. And here it is. It's like, can you see that?
Nope. Okay. Oh, okay. The fuck
So
is that?
like
Okay.
ancienty things.
Okay,
Ancienty.
is it? Why are they ancient? How did those things get there?
Okay, so what's a Hopewell earthworks? The National Park Service says the following. Built between 1,600 and 2,000 years ago by people now referred to as the Hopewell culture, the earthworks were built on an enormous scale using a standard unit of measure, form precise squares, circles, and octagons, as well as hilltops sculpted to enclose a vast plaza. So it was the indigenous populations that were doing these earthworks.
Mhm.
And that area was actually made a UNESCO World Heritage Site in some areas of Ohio because of all of these earthworks.
And why do they do them? Were they just decorative?
They were enclosing a vast plaza.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, like a town square? I don't know.
Okay.
Or like a place of worship or something.
Okay.
They changed Circleville, used to be in a circle grid around this earthworks. They changed it to the ugly grid format that the US uses and, you know, like the ABC 1, 2, 3 streets in 1850s. Fun fact, Circleville was founded by Euro-American settlers such as George Hitler Sr., who had 11 kids, and one of these was Dr. Gay Hitler. There's no link to the Hitler, but lots of things around the town are called Hitler this and Hitler that
They didn't rename it? They didn't rename?
After Dr. Gay Hitler.
Oh, don't you think they should have renamed?
Oh, so that's kind of awkward. In the 1970s, when this story starts, there was just under 12,000 residents of Circleville. So I just wanted to give you an idea. It's not that many. The town is over 95% white. Notable people on Wikipedia. There was a few, but no one that I knew of or cared about, except for Conchata Ferrell. Do you know who
That's a
she
good
is?
name. No, but it's a great name.
You do know who she is.
Oh.
She's the actress known for playing Berta, the housekeeper in Two and a Half Men. Did you ever
No, I
watch?
never watched that show.
Oh, she was
No.
fantastic. I think she was my favorite. Um, so, like I said, in 1976, the residents start getting weird letters. By the way, if you can hear snoring.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was your stomach, and then I realized it's Lola.
Can you hear it? Shit.
Yeah.
It's so all right, so this freaks me out
Oh.
because you already mentioned The Watcher. It's very much The Watcher vibes, except
Oh,
these letters were from the writer.
oh, the fucking there's something about stalking.
Anonymous
There's
letters.
not much creepier than that. It really, you know what? You know when you listen or watch something and it fucking stays with you and really gets under your skin and creeps you out? That episode on Strange and Unexplained with Daisy Egan, is that her name?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's a great
that
podcast.
It is, yeah. And then she got a narrator to read out the letters. And I've
Mm,
never in my life, it's the narrator's voice reading out those letters. And I
yeah.
was terrified, like from the inside out, just because the creepiness of it. Nobody
Hmm.
died, but it was so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So one of these letters from the writer says,
Oh,
"You have been watched. Failure to comply, and you shall suffer. No one can help. No one can protect you. Obey, obey." And do you want to see the state of these letters? Like, this
oh,
is
I'm
what these.
fucking scared. Oh, God. Because, for those who are listening and not watching, I'm sitting in my conservatory and it's pitch black behind me. I'm
Alone.
fucking hate that. And, huh?
I live alone.
Yeah, but you don't live on a fucking graveyard.
No, but look, this is the
Oh, I don't
letter.
like it. Is that handwritten or is that some weird sort of stamp thing?
Handwritten letter,
I don't
I
like it.
think. Creepy.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so these letters were threatening. They were threatening violence, blackmail, and the revelation of secrets. People were accused of embezzlement, domestic violence, affairs, and even murder. This went on for years because multiple people got these letters and they got more and more violent. So one of the main recipients of the letter was a lady called Mary Gillespie. She was a bus driver in the town, like a school bus driver. The first letters contained accusations that Mary was cheating on her husband, Ronald, that she was having an affair with Gordon Massey, the school superintendent. So, remember when we learned what a merchant navy is?
Yeah.
School, school superintendent is another one of those terms that I hear a lot.
Is it
Granted,
like maintenance?
mainly from from The Simpsons. They always talk
Yeah.
about the superintendent,
Uh-huh.
and I never knew what it really was. So I Googled the definition because we
Uh-huh.
don't, as far as I know, we don't have them in the UK. In the American education system, a superintendent or superintendent of schools is an administrator or manager in charge of a number of public schools.
Okay.
Not maintenance, like
Okay.
administrative, like the manager of multiple schools, basically.
Okay.
So thank you, Wikipedia.
Executive head teacher is what that would be here.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what's the equivalent? So they would be responsible for multiple schools?
Yeah, like an executive head teacher would be, now that a lot of schools are academies, they would be the head teacher for several academies.
Right.
Then
Okay.
there'd be another head teacher beneath them that's actually stationed at that school.
Gotcha. So that's what a superintendent is. Now we know. The first letter was actually to Westfall High School, to Gordon Massey himself. So he was the initial target. And it accused Massey of sexually harassing women bus drivers at the high school.
Mhm.
I guess they assumed it was kids doing stupid pranks at the beginning. But then there was one that seemed to be like from the boyfriend of one of the female drivers. Then the next letter was to the Board of Education 2 days later, again about Massey and how he had dated loads of the female drivers. And that they only agree because they're scared for their jobs. Basically, he's exploiting his more powerful position as their employer, basically. They won't say no because they're worried about losing their jobs. And some are But then some are annoyed that he hasn't asked them out, as they would like to tell him where to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. Then letter 3 was again to the superintendent, again saying that the boss was putting pressure on the female bus drivers to date him. And then the writer starts off concerned with the female drivers, and especially his supposed girlfriend, and then starts to focus on Mary Gillespie. You would have thought when he's talking about his girlfriend, the bus driver, that it'd be fairly easy to work out who it was, but apparently not. The writer starts off by trying to get Massey fired, clearly. The letters are also sent to the vice principal about Gordon Massey. And the driver number 62917 was also mentioned, who has a daughter in the school. And 62917 is Mary Gillespie. So I'm going to show you.
So she's a driver.
She's a driver at the school. I'm just going to show you a picture of Mary Gillespie and Gordon Massey, just because we like to see, don't we?
I like a visual.
We like a visual. So here you go. These will be posted on our socials. This is from a CBS article, which is why it's so stylized.
Oh, she's pretty, huh?
She's gorgeous.
Mm.
And he's a handsome fella too. So Mary is married to Ronald Gillespie. And these letters are accusing her of having an affair with Gordon Massey, the superintendent, who's in this picture. Mary Gillespie's home was on Brooks Miller Road, which obviously I found on Google Maps. Just bear with me while I share it.
What made you want to look at her home?
Because I'm nosy.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find her actual house. I just found basically where she lived in relation to Circleville Town Center. So, but I did actually wanted to see, because it's talking about her going out to her mailbox, I wanted to see what that kind of looked like. So let me share my screen and then you'll see what I mean. So you can see she lives like just out of town. It's like 15-minute drive to the center of town, right? And then if we do this little walkie man thing, one little walkie man. Come on. Look how rural.
Oh my God, it's creepy. Even just
right.
this,
So I'm not saying this is her house, but you can imagine the houses are set back, and that is a mailbox.
Oh,
right. Okay, it adds to the creepiness, right? Here's another house.
God, the mailbox is
There's the mailbox.
I mean, how many meters would you say that is? Like 40 meters.
I don't know, but I don't know why it makes it more creepy that the mailbox is so far away from the house. But it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, the scene you just showed was creepy.
Exactly. Like imagine going out to the post there and yeah. So Mary starts getting the letters, and this is what Mary's letter says. Lady, this is your last chance to report him. I know you are a pig and will prove it and shame you out of Ohio. A pig sneaks around and meets other women's husbands behind their backs, causes families and homes and marriages to suffer. Because Gordon Massey, forgot to mention, is also married. So this letter is accusing her of breaking up homes, basically, by having this affair. Another letter read, I know where you live. Yeah, duh, you sent a fucking letter. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious.
That's creepy.
Hate it. Then her husband, Ronald, starts getting letters too about his wife's alleged affair. The letter stated that if Ron did not stop his wife's affair, his life would be in danger. Why is his life in danger? That seems cruel.
So do they not know who did they not sort of work out who this could have been?
No.
At all?
No.
Okay.
I told you right from the start, this is unsolved.
Okay.
We're going to discuss theories at the end. One of the letters to Ronald.
Is it not the superintendent's wife, potentially? Okay.
One of these letters to Ronald even said, you should catch them together and kill them both.
Oh, okay.
The writer threatened to go public with the affair, to go on the news and radio. I mean, I don't know whether it is news, but maybe on a slow news day, local news. I don't know. One of Ronald's letters also read, Gillespie, you've had 2 weeks and done nothing. Make her admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CBS posters. Oh no, CBs, I think like CB radio, posters, signs, and billboards until the truth comes out. Mary and Ron only told 3 people about the letters. Ron's sister Karen, her husband Paul Freshore, and Paul's sister.
Why didn't they go to the police?
No, I don't know whether it's because it's like obviously talking about some indiscretions or things they don't really want to go public, or Mary thought she knew who was sending the letters and for some reason decided Paul Freshnor, oh fuck, have I got his name wrong? That Paul, so Ron's brother-in-law, should anonymously write a letter to her suspect saying they knew who it was. So that was her plan of action. She's like, I know who's sending the letter. Paul, write them anonymous letters saying we know who you're writing the letters.
How are they gonna deliver it to somebody they don't know who it is?
No, they think they know who it is.
Okay.
So Mary thinks she knows who's sending the letters. And the suspect is David Longberry, who's a colleague of Mary, who Mary rejected.
Okay.
So she thinks it might be David Longberry. So putting 2 and 2 together, she gets Paul, her brother-in-law, to write letters to David Longberry anonymously for some reason.
So why didn't she just write them anonymously?
We don't know whether he had better handwriting or what.
Okay.
The letters actually stopped for a few weeks. Let's bring in Martin Yant, who's a journalist who wrote a lot on this case. He actually thinks at this point that they suspected Gordon Massey's son, William. But William was 18 at the time, so is it likely that a group of adults and parents, their parents themselves of teenagers, would tackle this issue by sending anonymous letters to a child, basically? Don't know. What do you think? Don't know.
I don't know, because we're not gonna fucking know, are we?
I just feel like, especially because it's Gordon Massey's son and Gordon's been getting these letters too.
I doubt that it was the son, because he said to Ron, kill them both.
Yeah.
Unless he was angry with his dad.
Yeah. But then the letters restarted, as did signs around town, specifically on Mary's bus route. So billboards start going up. In August 1977, so a year-ish after the letters started, Ronald Gillespie, Mary's husband, dies in suspicious circumstances.
Oh,
He actually fucking dies.
Of what?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Mary was out of town. She was going to Florida with some gal pals. Ronald gets a phone call, supposedly from the writer, who is now branching out to be the caller. Ron told his daughter, who was a teenager at the time, that he was going out. He was going to get this writer once and for all. He was going to go and find the letter writer. He drove off into the night in his pickup truck and drove into a tree and died. But it gets weirder. A gun was found in his car. Okay, that's not that weird for America, but it had been fired once. Was he shooting at someone when he crashed?
Oh, God.
The death was ruled as an accident and that Ron had been drinking. He was double over the legal limit, even though he was known not to be a heavy drinker. But you know, his wife's out of town. He might have been like, fuck it, I'm going to have a few drinks.
And also like a bit of Dutch courage, or maybe he was planning on harming this person and thought, don't want to be sober when I
don't know.
it.
Apparently he ran out as soon as he got the phone call. So.
Okay. Oh, God.
There was apparently also bullet holes in his car, but I will say you can't tell. You can tell if a gun has been fired and not cleaned properly. And you could tell that there were bullet holes in the car, apparently, but you can't tell when those happened. So they cannot prove 100% that those occurred on the night of the crash.
Okay.
But let me show you the state of his fucking car.
Oh, whoa. Is it upside down? No, it's not. Oh,
It's not
Jesus.
upside down because it's a pickup truck, but it is smushed,
Fuck.
right?
Hmm.
So what the fuck happened there? Um, there was another person involved, according to the police, but that person passed a lie detector test. But what do we know about lie detector tests? They are not reliable.
Oh, I don't like it. I'm creeped out.
Yeah, so was Ron being chased or was he chasing someone? The only witness was to this event kind of was actually Ron's daughter, who I just said was a teen. She wasn't. She was 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
So they're relying on her for timings, what Ron said. You know, she's 8.
Mm.
So
Poor kid, and her mother's out of town.
mhm. There was paint on the gun, which could have been from the glove compartment. So did he get the gun out before going out, like his daughter said, or was it already in the car? It's really difficult to tell. And like I said, there's no way of actually knowing when the gun was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff Dwight Radcliffe has since been accused of being involved in some kind of cover-up.
Oh, why?
We'll discuss that later.
Oh, it's creepy.
So on that note, let's take a little break.
Okay. I was actually about to text Jim and say, Jim, can you watch TV downstairs? Because I'm scared. I'm gonna
Oh,
call him.
I'm leaving that in.
No,
All right.
no.
Part deux. Do you remember Hot Shots
Yes.
Part Deux? Yeah. I always say Part Deux, and no one's ever been like, oh, like
Oh
Hot
my
Shots.
God. Do they not know? Like Steve Martin. Wasn't it Steve Martin?
It was,
I'm sure it was Steve Martin.
I think it was Charlie Sheen.
Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah, that's true. It was, yeah. I'm thinking
Yeah,
Naked Gun.
you're thinking Naked Gun. I'm thinking Hot Shots. Anyways, so although Mary Gillespie denied the affair with Gordon Massey at the time, apparently after Ronald's death, they did start seeing each other. Some reports say that the affair started after the letter started, but before Ron died. But to be honest, I'm not really that surprised by this because they were brought together by some kind of weird trauma bond.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? If they didn't
Yeah.
talk before, they're definitely going to talk after, aren't they? In January 1983, so 7 years after the letter started, the writer hung up a sign on Mary Gillespie's bus route. So it's still going. The sign contained obscenities about Mary's now 13-year-old daughter. Ugh, I've read actually somewhere that the sign actually stated that Gordon Massey had raped the daughter.
Oh
Sorry
God.
about that. Trigger warning, which I should have said before. Um, but these weren't even the first signs that appeared along Mary's bus route. I'm going to show you a picture of where the signs were. Again, something about it being quite rural is just makes it more creepy, right?
Yeah.
Because
Because
it's,
also it can be so few people, I'm assuming,
yeah,
that
like,
you will probably know that person personally.
right? Well, clearly, because they seem to know a lot about the individuals
Hmm.
they're writing the letters to. So this is one of the areas where the signs appeared on her bus route,
God, imagine living there. It just looks so creepy because there's nothing. It's like living
right?
in the middle of a field.
And imagine seeing a sign directed at you as you drive past this
Hmm.
street, right? Whew. So, when Mary stopped to take the sign down, she saw it was attached to a box. She took this box home, and when she opened it, she found a loaded gun ready to shoot inside of it. I know. I'm going to show you
Why
a
haven't they gone
picture.
to the police? I mean, I know they didn't have cameras back then, or did they?
This is this picture of the booby trap.
Okay. Oh, booby trap. So that
Yeah,
gun
it
was
was
supposed to go
booby
off.
trapped. The gun was supposed to go off,
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
right? So there's this box and this
Hmm.
loaded gun in there with the fucking rope around the trigger. And if she'd
Wow.
opened it differently, that gun would have gone off.
Oh God. Why didn't they go to the police?
I don't know at what point they actually went to the police,
Okay.
but um, basically she was incredibly lucky that the fault was that the trap was faulty, or that she had pulled the box out in a way that she did. Basically, it didn't set it off. Okay, so the police are definitely involved at this point because they traced the serial number of the gun back to Paul Fresher, who is married to Ronald's sister. Although by now he was separated from Ron's sister. Remember, he was the one they roped in to write these anonymous letters.
Yeah.
So he was in their inner circle.
Okay.
He thought that Ronald had been murdered, but did he think it was Mary's fault? He claims that the gun was stolen, but he didn't report it as such. It's like, why would he not? I can't imagine a context where your gun would be stolen and you wouldn't think to report it, because clearly that person has bad intentions. They're already stealing guns, you know?
Presumably from your home, so there's been a burglary.
So you would have thought that would be the first thing you do. So was he always the writer? His estranged wife, Ron's sister, seemed to think he was. She claimed that she had seen letters in their house, although he denied it, as well as setting the booby trap. He was arrested and tried for attempted murder and sentenced to 10 years.
And why was he doing it? What was his...
We don't know, because he was denying it.
Okay.
So although Paul was denying writing the letters, and he was not charged for writing the letters, he was specifically charged for setting this booby trap. 39 of the letters were admitted as evidence into the court case. And there were claims that the writing on the booby trap matched those in the letters. Weird little aside, Fresher used to work at Ohio Penn, at the prison, as a prison guard, which was, surprise, surprise, seriously under-resourced. And it was very punitive prison. Fuck's sake. It was a really, really harsh prison where prisoners had literally no civil rights. But this was changing. There was a riot, and the prisoners submitted demands for some of the guards to be punished for their treatment of the prisoners. Paul Fresher, who was a prison guard, was held hostage with 7 or 8 other prison officers. Apparently in the riot, the prisoners just started fucking around and doing drugs. No, not fucking around. Sorry, I misread my notes. The prisoners just started fucking and doing drugs.
Oh.
And Paul says none of the prison officers kept in touch with each other afterwards. They were scared at the time. So I just thought that was a weird aside, because that's going to fuck with your head if you're being held hostage during a prison riot. Right? So who was close enough to Paul Fresher to frame him if it wasn't him? Karen, his wife, said she had received anonymous letters too, and even had her car shot at. Remember, they're estranged. They were separated at the time. Karen claims that there was domestic violence in their marriage. Bottles had been broken and used to threaten her, etc., etc. The divorce papers filed reflect this. Apparently, Paul has been to counseling since then. Karen got custody of the oldest kid, who is 19. And I was thinking, is that a thing? Do you get custody of a grown adult? Maybe if they have a condition, which means they're still dependent. I don't know. But Paul got custody of the 2 younger kids.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know, which is weird if there's like violence in the divorce settlement. Apparently, Paul didn't pay child support, and I have no idea how this works for an adult child and when he's got custody of 2 younger children or whatever, but the court ordered it, so there must have been a reason, I guess. Apparently he lied about shares in a company he worked for as well during the divorce, presumably to make sure he didn't have to give his ex-wife part of it. Paul started hating on Mary, apparently, after Paul's divorce. So is he getting more unhinged? I mean, if there's violence in his relationship and so forth, he's clearly not well. So in December 1990, Paul becomes eligible for parole. So remember, he is in jail for setting this booby trap, which he denies. He was denied parole due to the letters, even though there was no way that he could be sending them, because these letters continued while he was in prison. The letters also became more cruel one accusing the prosecutor in Paul's trial of having murdered a pregnant woman.
Okay.
The prosecutor, Roger Klein, was discovered to be having an affair with the dead woman, and he was the father of the unborn child. So, like, who is finding out this fucking shit?
Oh my God.
There
So
was
do
another.
you think
Go
it's
on.
Paul, or do you not know?
Let me finish and then we'll discuss.
Mhm.
Another Circleville letter writer target was Dr. Ray Carroll, who performed Ron Gillespie's autopsy. He was outed by the Circleville writer as a pedophile. In 1993, he was officially charged with 12 counts of gross immorality, sex crimes, corruption of a minor, pornography, obscenity, and indecent exposure.
Mm.
So this letter writer knows things,
Mhm.
but the letters still keep on coming. And no, Paul Fresher is not even allowed pens and paper in prison.
Okay, so it can't be him.
And actually, Paul Fresher got one himself in prison.
Oh.
It said, Fresher, now when are you going to believe you aren't getting out of there? I told you 2 years ago when we set them up, they stay set up.
What does that mean?
Another bus driver said when he drove past the sign spots, the booby trap sign, 20 minutes earlier, he saw a suspicious looking man with a yellow Camino, and this person does not match the description of Paul. You would have thought a yellow Camino, I don't even know what that is, but you would have thought that's fairly fucking easy to find, right?
Mhm.
When Paul was released, finally, 10 years later, or however long he served of his 10-year sentence, Unsolved Mysteries did an episode on the case, and even they got a letter.
Oh, fuck. Oh my
Going on for
God.
decades.
Oh my God.
The letter to Unsolved Mysteries said, forget Circleville, Ohio. Do nothing to hurt Sheriff Radcliffe. If you come to Ohio, you sickos will pay. The Circleville writer.
Oh my God. Wait, why was he protective over the sheriff?
I don't know, but remember I said there was people thinking that he was involved in some kind of cover-up, especially of Ronald's
But then if
death.
if he was the sheriff writing this letter or somebody trying to protect the sheriff, why would you make the sheriff look potentially guilty by saying that?
You
Oh
know,
my God. This is like fucking Cluedo.
it's only in 1994 that the letter stopped. So that means they were going from 1976
Oh
to
God.
1994.
So did this person die, do you think? Is that what stopped it?
Paul Fresher, who maintained a blog for several years, passed away in 2012, supposedly never knowing the identity of the Circleville writer. We still don't know who the writer is. Was there one writer? Was there multiple writers? Was there a copycat writer? So do you want to hear some theories?
Copycat writer. Oh my God, with all these theories, how are we gonna fucking know? Okay. Oh my
So first
God.
of all, let's look at what kind of person makes an anonymous threat, because there's been studies on this.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so they fit a profile.
So
Okay.
are they threatening or are they doing it for extortion? Is it a general message or a personal message? So usually they tend to be socially maladjusted and suffering from feelings of persecution and jealousy. And they transfer these negative feelings onto others to feel better, usually using coercion in order to feel like they are regaining control.
Okay.
They might feel like they are righting a wrong and doing a public service, which kind of sounds like what the letter writer was doing originally.
Yeah.
With, claiming he was protecting these female bus drivers from their boss who was basically sexually harassing them or whatever. They might be able to function socially. The letter, like I said, thinks that Massey is a perpetrator of a lot of wrongs, sexually harassing the female bus driver, having an affair with another married person. The writer was probably someone insignificant in the letter recipients' lives.
Oh, okay. Why is that? Why is that a common theme then?
Because they're trying to get more significance in those people's lives.
Okay.
48 Hours did a feature on this case, and forensic document expert Beverly East studied the letters. She compared Paul Fresher's handwriting to the Circleville letter, the writer's handwriting. This expert says she's 100% sure who is responsible, Paul, because of things like the unique way the letter G was written. But then others have contradicted her. So,
and if this person's trying to frame Paul, then surely they would have studied the handwriting.
you would have thought that would be fairly easy to do if it's someone in their circle. Journalist Martin Yant investigated. He actually specializes in wrongful convictions and helped clear 13 people of wrongful convictions, which is fucking amazing. 2 of whom were sentenced to the death penalty. So he might be my case crush. Maybe, even though I said that I wasn't sure about his theory before. You know, that the letter writer was the son, could have been the son. He was interviewed on the Whatever Remains podcast. So it's another amazing podcast that I listen to specifically on this. One of the seasons is specifically on this case. He's now a private investigator as well as a journalist. He thought that there might be at least 3 letter writers. None of them Paul. He thought the son of the superintendent, Gordon Massey, which totally makes sense in why he would want to. If he found out his dad was cheating on his mom, you could get why he would be angry, vengeful. If he was an 18-year-old boy as well, he wouldn't know how to cope with those emotions necessarily. He also thought it could have been a co-worker who was infatuated with Mary. So was it that David Longberry? And also suspected Paul's ex-wife, Ron's sister, Karen.
Okay.
Because, you know, she found out that Mary was having an affair, cheating on her brother.
So not that they were working collectively, but that it could have been.
That's the other thing. Were they working together? Did they know about each other? Did one hear about the letters and think, oh, I'm gonna make use of this? The man next to the Camino that I mentioned, that someone spotted really close to where the booby trap was laid, 20 minutes before it was found. That could be Ron's sister's new boyfriend who owned exactly that car.
Okay.
And again, if Ron's sister thought that Ron was murdered because of Mary and her affair, she has motive.
Okay.
Some people think that Mary sent the letters to herself. Can't think why, and she definitely didn't set the booby trap herself because she was driving a bus. So where are they now? Paul Fresher died in 2012, as mentioned. This is awful. David Longberry, remember the bus driver that Mary Gillespie initially suspected, the one who she had rejected? In 1999, he raped an 11-year-old girl and was on the run before dying by suicide. So, and I don't actually have very much information about where the Gillespies are, but I imagine they are trying to live a quiet life. So yeah, I've got a bunch of sources: CBS News, Unsolved Mysteries, Thought Catalog, all that's interesting. The Whatever Remains podcast was absolutely amazing. Mary Mayhew went through all the court transcripts, so I didn't have to. So thank you very much, Mary Mayhew. The 48 Hours, and again, Unsolved Mysteries. I said that already.
So who the fuck do you think it was?
I think it was multiple people.
Oh, okay. Okay, why do you say that? It seemed like an odd thing. You know how we were talking before, like, you know, when you have like murderous couples, who brings it up first? How do you know that person's going to receive it well? How do you convince
No, I think
someone?
it was multiple people that didn't work together.
Okay, and why would they not? Okay, explain how that happens.
All right, so let's say potentially the first letters were written by this David Longberry.
So were they trying to look like the same person?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say the first letters were written by David Longberry, the guy that was rejected by Mary, because he alluded to one of the female drivers being his girlfriend, and he clearly had issues. He later on was convicted of raping an 11-year-old girl. So let's say that he was at the very least unhinged and deluded. So let's imagine that he, in his mind, Mary was his girlfriend, and he felt like he had to protect the female bus drivers from this predator, Gordon Massey, who was sexually harassing them in his mind. And then later on, maybe the son finds out about it and suspects his dad of having an affair with Mary, and then decides to amp it up and write some letters. And then maybe the sister decides, oh, well, you know, they'll never tie the original letters to me because they weren't me. So maybe I use this as an attempt
And
to
that
kill
many
Mary
people,
because it's her fault that my brother's dead.
so that many people you think had a vendetta against her, against Mary.
Well, remember the initial letters, the target was someone totally different. It was Gordon Massey.
Mm,
And then later on, it seemed to be, okay, a bit Gordon, but mainly Mary who's getting the
mm.
letters. So fucking cuckoo bananas.
I'm going to think about it for a long time because it's almost a little too creative that three separate people are writing letters not in tandem and not in cahoots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As
So,
copycats.
and
So there's
again,
no fucking conclusive answer.
nope.
There's no like closest theory. Do
I
you
guess
think that-
Martin Yance is the one who spent most time looking into it, and he's the one that says he thinks it's the three. The
and so
son,
so they
the
stopped.
colleague, and the sister.
And so it stopped in 1994.
Mhm.
And why do you think it would stop? Why would all three stop at the same time?
Well, they kind of did stop at the same. If it was three people, they would have stopped at different times.
Okay.
You know, one would have picked up the mantle and potentially they would have heard, oh, someone else is writing letters, you know, also. Maybe I'll just stop now and let them take over and
But
potentially
then
take the
surely all
blame
their
if we're caught.
handwriting, surely then all the handwriting would be completely different.
Well, it's very distinctive, so it kind of looked like fairly easy-ish to copy.
Okay, so they did try to copy. It was an actual like deliberate copycat crime, if that theory is correct.
If that theory is correct, then yeah, definitely copy because they were signed by the writer,
Mm.
you know? So it would have been very much.
Fucking small town people are fucked up. How you'd even think of that? It's fucked up enough that one person would do it, but then two more jumping on the bandwagon
Yeah,
to copy and do the same crazy shit. What the fuck is in the water?
I
That they're
know, because
all
they're like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this to benefit my
yeah.
own vendetta.
Who even fucking thinks to do that? And then another person, a third person, thinks, oh, I'll do the same crazy shit. All in a
I
fucking
mean,
tiny
that's just
town.
one theory, but like I said, this guy Martin Yan spent a lot of time on this case.
Wow. How would you even research it though? If
I
there's
mean, there was
no
definitely someone other than Paul. If Paul wrote some, there was definitely someone else writing some in addition to him. Because
wow.
some of those letters were sent while he was still in prison when he had
There's
literally no way of writing them.
there's so many complexities here. And it's such like a web, isn't it? All these people who have like fucked each other over in some way, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
who
again,
shot at Ron? Who shot at Ron's car?
well, again, was that on the night or was that, you know, from a previous time?
Who
But
shot at
even
Karen's car then?
we only
Oh,
have her word that it even happened.
oh my God. How would you even go about researching this? There's no fucking camera footage. There's no Ring doorbells. How would you even research this other than just finding out what is going on in their lives and try to piece together some story?
Yeah, and just going around and asking for witnesses and, you know, but just think everyone in that story is involved in some way in the accusations or in the letter writing or receiving letters. So
Ugh. Okay, so these people are not insignificant in each other's lives.
I would say, for example, David Longbury was
Yeah,
fairly insignificant,
yeah,
and
yeah.
also Gordon Massey's son,
Okay, so
insignificant.
that's what we're calling insignificant. So it is somebody who's like a first degree contact,
Yeah,
but
knows them, but
yeah.
it's not involved in their day to day,
Okay,
really.
okay,
You know,
okay. Oh my God.
hate it.
I hate it because it's unsettling, because there's no fucking answer, and because the theory of three people makes it even more fucking twisted.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not just one twisted shit, it's two other people. And the fact that they're not working in cahoots makes it even more freaky to me for some reason.
Because even if Paul, who went to prison for the booby trap,
You see how these cases are more interesting than murder?
I mean, like I said, there might have been a murder.
Yeah,
There's
maybe, yeah.
definitely a death.
But like it's so much more psychological and complex and interesting when it's like, what the fuck are you trying to do?
I
You
know.
know?
It's absolutely fucking mind-boggling. I don't know how anyone still lives in this town. I would have to move.
No! Does anyone live in that house? Obviously, somebody lives in that house now, huh?
I don't even know if that house is still there because that one I showed you was not necessarily the house. I only found out the street. So,
Oh, it makes it creepier when you see the pictures of the town. That makes it creepier because it's like desolate and ugh.
yeah. So there you
Why
go.
did you do this?
I will say that apparently they have a nice pumpkin festival once a
Okay.
year.
Where did you even hear about this?
I think it was first on a My Favorite Murder podcast episode. And then, like I said, when you were saying that you want to have, that you like to look at cases that don't necessarily just involve murder, I was like, I'm gonna do this one because it's fucking creepy.
Mm.
And we don't normally like unsolved cases,
No.
but I just couldn't not with this
It
one.
literally brings me back to the Watcher. I
Hmm.
heard the podcast episode first, then I started to try to watch the Netflix series, and I was like, no, I can't. There's something about it being watched and
I know,
somebody
but the
else.
Netflix series is amazing because Jennifer Coolidge,
Yeah, she's good.
she's so
Yeah.
good. I
Oh,
don't think she's meant to be giving comedy, but she can't not.
no.
All right. Well,
Oh, I
I
liked it.
think
I liked it. I liked it. I really liked that one, but I'll be thinking about it for a long time.
same. That's why I listened to the My Favorite Murder one literally years ago, and I couldn't get it out of my head because what the
Oh,
actual fuck?
that must really frustrate the people who actually researched it professionally
Well, because
to
yeah, because
not be able
lots of
to
the
get
people
to,
now are going to be dead.
yeah, to not ever be able to get an answer to it. I mean, I'm sure it's not as frustrating as like when there's been actual murders and disappearances of people. To like not be able to solve those kind of crimes, but there's no way to answer it now, is there? I mean, but if it happened now, it'd be so easy to solve, wouldn't it?
You'd hope. You'd
Because of,
hope
I
this
mean,
kind of stuff doesn't
cameras.
fucking happen today.
I'm still
Oh
shocked.
yeah, cameras and everything. Yeah, because like in my interview with Louis, he was saying couldn't hijack trucks in the way that we did in the 80s because you'd be caught on a million cameras and so forth. So you'd
Yeah,
hope.
that's the
But then
thing.
again, those places are still really fucking rural. So why would they have cameras like in the fucking
Doesn't
field?
everyone like, oh God, that sounds so terrible. Doesn't everyone have a ring doorbell? I mean, I know that not everyone has a ring doorbell,
Sure, but imagine that
but
house.
like in
Sure,
that
imagine that
town,
house with the Ring doorbell on it. Would it even reach the mailbox?
oh, because that didn't look like a low income town, did it?
I don't think so. I don't think it was like, I think
So
it was,
in this day and age,
but
they most
again,
likely would have had a ring doorbell or some, or even the local authority would have had cameras, in this
but
day and
why
age.
on these fields?
I'm surprised when anywhere doesn't have cameras. I'm surprised that anyone gets away with any kind of crime because I just feel like everywhere there's cameras, isn't there?
Yeah, and you've got your mobile phone or whatever. But
Yeah.
let's hope that it's not as easy to do this. But,
Oh, it's scary. That I don't like it at all. There's something about being watched and
and to be honest, if it was happening today, it'd probably be done online.
well, that's the other thing. When things are done online, it's trackable, traceable.
Sometimes, unless they're really good,
Hmm.
right? Anyways, I think we need
Oh my God.
a people's pulse.
That was unsettling. Okay, yes, people's pulse.
People's
Okay,
pulse, people's
so
pulse.
so so so.
I'm excited about this one.
Sorry, let me on. Okay, so this people's pulse was actually your choice,
Yeah,
and you mentioned it in the last episode of season 2, and I can't remember what brought us up to that topic.
me neither, but we were talking again about
I remember. We were saying, I wonder if
if
like
people have a favorite.
no. That's we didn't say that because we don't want people to have favorites, or at least we
No,
don't
we
want
were
to
saying
get
if there's one of us that
people find annoying. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
okay,
saying.
which
And then I
is a
said,
worse way of saying what I said, but
and then I
anyway.
said, it's not going to be you. Because we don't like favorites.
Oh,
You know
and then
what?
you said like Penn and Teller, and I meant to ask you, which one do you not like in Penn and Teller?
Okay, so I don't know which one's which, but the tall one is definitely the you in the operation. The tall one.
The other guy is a mute. You think he's
Yeah.
a mute?
No, but the Penn is the one that he seems to get more screen time. Do you know what I mean? I only saw him in that
Because he
show.
talks.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah, and then
Well,
we were talking about how in My Favorite Murder they have like merch that says, I'm a Karen, I'm a Georgia.
yeah.
You're a Georgia, I'm a Karen. But
Okay.
anyways, so yeah, that hence why we made the question, are you a
Yeah.
Rhonda, are you a Dee? That's not to say which one is your
I
favorite.
know, yeah, because then after I posted it, and then oh my God, my dear friend Julia, who I used to work with, and she was the art technician, and she's a beautiful lady, and I used to teach her son and her daughter and her niece. And then I'll read out her comment, but then her response made me think, oh shit, do people think we're asking for favorites? Because we're not. That's not.
No, just which one of us are you more like? Which
Yeah.
might mean you hate that one the most. But anyway, why
Yeah,
don't you
so I hope people didn't get the impression that we were saying which one do you like better, because that is absolutely not the case. Because
we
we
don't need
don't.
to answer this one because obviously I'm a D and you're a Rhonda.
And then was that Lola who made a funny sound?
I mean, it could have been, but
Yeah.
sometimes it is actually my belly.
No. So basically, let me get the responses. Now, as per, we have less responses when we're not asking about bodily functions. So
I don't even know how many more questions we can ask about bodily functions.
we're gonna have to get creative and ask ChatGPT to brainstorm some for us, because that was a hit. That was it. Those were a hit. The puking
Right.
and the shitting ones were by far
Mm-hmm. All right.
the most. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna start with Jane, our dearest Jane. So
Jane.
Jane says, it's a toughie. So I'm gonna say I'm 50-50, a bit like a twin in one body.
I like that.
I'm also partial to a tipple or two, but it's combined with being a bit of a neat freak who likes order and routine. I like true crime, obs, so a bit of both again. Loves you both. Oh, love you.
So
So
basically, I'm the drinker and you're the
I was
OCD.
just gonna go past that, but I have to say, do you know what?
I
I
am
do,
drinking rum.
I do fucking love order, but anyone who's been to and minimalism, but having kids has completely sabotaged that in my life. And anyone that comes over to my house will know that it's usually a fucking shit pit because of kids. So yeah, I'm not quite as on top of it as I would hope. So then we have I'm just scrolling my messages with Commentary Karen. So where are we at? Okay. Oh, she didn't send me her. Okay. So she said, oh, I think you know the answer to this, dot, 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 but I will send you my thoughts in a bit. So I do not have the thoughts.
I don't know her answer.
We'll get clarification. Then we have Lisa of the Island, Sparkly Fairy Lisa.
I met her at Harrogate.
Oh,
At
and then
Harrogate Crime Writers Festival.
so
Yay!
she says this, you're going to like this one. I am definitely more of a D. I'm an international woman of mystery.
Ooh, is that what I am? I
Yeah, I'm
love
guessing
that.
so, huh?
Ooh.
Okay. Oh my God, Isla. Okay, what Isla? Okay, Isla of, you may remember her from Criminally Good Books York.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it once or twice, yes.
So she says, it's a hard one. I struggle with being both introvert and extrovert. I'd say antisocial slash introvert, liking my home comforts like Randa and aspiring to the minimalist and organized life of Randa. Oh, gee, I love that you all think that. Paired with the more extrovert D who sees the good in everyone, wishing I had both their abilities to get shit done. I will say, D,
She's getting
that
shit
I love
done.
that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Isla is opening a fucking shop, a physical fucking shop in a fucking town center. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
And she's
and
painting it herself. She's painting it herself.
she sends us regular updates and it's just looking fucking amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah, yeah.
We're weeks away from this opening.
And then she says, I think I'd be the whitest Caucasian sibling they never had if Mama and Papa Saps had another kid. And in brackets, with ginger hair. Parentheses,
Oh.
parentheses. Okay. Oh my God, Isla can get shit done. Oh my God, she was a fucking CEO, wasn't she? When you
She's
work
the
together.
director of fundraising. She's fucking
Fucking director.
amazing.
So, okay, then we got, let me have a little look. See, sorry, this one I have to move over to another platform to get the answers. So then we got Julia, who I mentioned, and she says, love, love, love you both for your many varied and different qualities. Julia, you know when somebody is so sweet-natured and soft and beautiful and lovely, that's Julia.
Oh, I love her.
That is
I
Julia.
love her.
But yeah, do you know what? I have to say that was a duffer question from us.
Yeah, well, I've just asked ChatGTP
Oh,
for
what'd you say? What'd you ask? That was a duffer
question.
question because you know what? Our listeners are so lovely and they may think that we might get offended. I think that was a fucking duffer. I'm not going to
I
listen.
think so too.
I'm not going to listen to you next time we choose a topic.
Sorry, I apologize, but do you want to have some of the examples that
Yeah.
ChatGTP gave me? I asked
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Questions to ask listeners of a podcast about embarrassing bodily function stories.
Oh,
Okay. Question one. Can you share a funny or embarrassing story about a time when your body surprised you in public?
I like that phrasing. The delicate
Yeah,
phrasing.
your body surprised you. Surprised. Have you ever had a moment where you couldn't control a bodily function at the worst possible time? How did you handle it? I feel like we already had that. The most awkward situation you've experienced due to an unexpected bodily reaction. I feel like these are the same question phrased
It's saying the
differently.
same thing. It's saying, have you ever shot or pissed yourself in public, basically, but in a very
Do you
nice
have
way.
a memorable story about a time when your body made noises in an inopportune moment? I mean, that's not going to be as funny as when you actually fucking did a shit in yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to laugh off an embarrassing bodily function? Can you tell us about it? What's the most unusual reaction your body has ever had in a stressful or funny situation? I get really annoyed with myself because when I'm really angry, I cry. And then
Yeah.
people think I'm sad and not
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah.
What
What was the question?
most unusual reaction your body's had to a stressful situation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can you recall a time when your body betrayed you during a date or a romantic moment? And that
When
reminds
your
me,
body betrayed you. I like that.
but that reminded me of the moment our anonymous caller who left a voice note about a date where she threw up during an intimate moment.
Oh! And you know who you are, but you are she who will not be named because we love you too much.
Because we love you. Do you have a story about a moment when a natural bodily function caused a major disruption? Oh, I like this one. Has there ever been a time when an embarrassing body-related incident brought you closer to someone else?
Oh,
That's gonna be like a time where you puked in front of someone and they held your hair
yeah.
back.
Or I remember wasn't there a really, there was an incident, I can't remember who it was, but didn't somebody, you were at a wedding and somebody got their period and she asked you to help her?
Yeah, this was awful. This was like horrendous. So basically this woman turned up and I think we'd spoken to her a little bit before. It was a wedding where I didn't know very many people. I knew the bride and the groom and not very many other people. I was the plus one. And I met this woman. We talked briefly before the ceremony. She sat down next to me at the ceremony. She was so cute. She was like such a cute little red dress, which was worked to her advantage. And then when she stood up during some part of the ceremony, her chair, which had all the chairs had white covers, was covered in blood.
Oh no. Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad. Oh God.
Covered. So
Oh, that is literally the stuff of nightmares. I'm sure
yeah.
every
So I
woman
just went
nightmare.
into event planner mode where I told her, go to the bathroom, you've had an accident. I got the chair out of the room. Luckily, we were in the back row. So lucky we were in the back row. Got the chair out, and told the actual event planner that there had been an accident and could we get this replaced?
How did she deal with her outfit for the day?
Well, like it didn't really show on her outfit because she wore the perfect color dress. It was like a corally red color. So she did, I'm presuming, try to wash it a little bit in the sink. But basically, by the time she came back, the ceremony was almost finished. There was a new chair cover on. Yeah, so.
Wow, what a fucking nightmare at a wedding of all places. Oh my God.
So she was mortified. She was like, I must take you out for a meal to thank you. And I was like, there's no need. And so she didn't.
Oh, to be fair, she's probably so embarrassed and wants
Yeah,
to forget it ever happened, which means forget you exist in that process.
I just want to say at the end of this long list of questions that ChatGTP has recommended to me, it says, remember, it's crucial to create a supportive and non-judgmental atmosphere that encourages openness and humor. I think we do that.
I think that's our fucking mission statement. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'll save that in our notes.
Sometimes it produces gold, ChatGPT. Other times it just tells you to unleash or unlock your potential.
Right. So that was episode 1 of season 3, and we've got some fucking bangers coming up. Can you call them bangers if it's episodes?
I don't know, but let's fucking do it. Oh my God. Next week, I need to fucking think of something to follow this fucking episode. Yep. Jamie,
what do you want to hear about? All right. Well, I'm gonna go.
Oh, let's go. I'm gonna go on Google. Fucking find the answer to this case.
Love you, sexy listeners, and love you, best sister in the whole world.
Love you, and love you, and love you, and especially you.
We should make some merch that says, I'm a sexy listener. Shall we?
You know what we do need?
What?
Fucking switchblade pajamas, Dee. And that's what we need to wear every fucking episode.
That was a recommendation from our dear cousin.
Yes.
Lisa Mostyn. If you're an opera fan, check her fuck out. I'll put her website in the show notes. She's amazing. Even if you're not an opera fan. If you're at the age where you think you should be liking opera, she's a good entry level because she's one of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, she said, you know, if you're going to record in your pajamas, you should get some Switchblade Sister Social Club pajamas. She's not wrong. We've already got the cushion.
Yeah, we should, because this is now, podcasting in pajamas is now what I am doing indefinitely.
I mean, I think podcasting in pajamas, if it's not already taken, should be another spin-off on Patreon.
Yeah. But make it happen.
Don't expect sexy pajamas.
There's going to be like this flannel.
No. Flannel
old man pajamas.
Like towely, terry cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fleecy.
Oh, I looked into OnlyFans for us.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, potential of doing sister feet things.
Yes.
I don't understand OnlyFans. You know, on OnlyFans, you can't search for an individual or an account.
That's weird.
You can only search for like a thing, like.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Sister feet.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I think we should definitely explore the possibility of like, I think our account should be stepping in weird things.
Okay.
Like spaghetti.
Yeah.
But like not like food from the recycling bin, because I don't like wastage.
I don't like waste either. I don't like waste either.
Like stepping in weird things, it's good to have a niche.
Well, I thought the sister feet was our niche, but
I mean, yeah,
we should take guidance from our fans on OnlyFans. So, yeah. Or our listeners here on this podcast could just buy our merch. Or sign up to our Patreon.
Lose our dignity.
Yeah, and then we don't need to do this feet stuff. No judgment, no kink shaming. But we'd rather focus on this podcast. All right. Well, on that note, bye, sexy listeners.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey there. Thanks for being a loyal listener.
Do you need a new website or want to boost your social media performance? Or do you hate podcast editing? You've tried optimizing your website and social media channels, but you're still not getting the listeners, downloads, and engagement you want?
We, the Safie sisters, love helping people with tasks that they hate. We know a thing or two about podcasts, websites, and social media, and we love working with other podcasters and business owners.
So why not head over to switchbladesisterssocialclub.com and go to our Work With Us section. We believe in collaboration over competition. A rising tide raises all ships.
Bye!